Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learned back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be giving you my Sagittarius February 2020 horoscope part 2 of 2. And yes, this does apply and pertain to the sun, moon, and ascendant. Anyway, first thing up is as far as February goes, Mars will be in Sagittarius from the 1st until the 16th. So the first house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, Sagittarius, you may have a very strong abundance and surfeit of energy. It might be injected into Sagittarius like new beginnings, such as sports, the outdoors, law, philosophy, religion, higher education, athletics, anything that could be Sagittarius related. Could also be a time, too, if you're unattached at this time, Sagittarius, you may connect with a Sagittarius sun, moon, or ascendant person, or simply one that embodies Sagittarius characteristics. And maybe for a sexual liaison, it might be somebody that's instrumental in your new beginnings. It could be in your outlook. It might even be somebody that you knew from your early childhood. It could be a childhood sweetheart. At the same time, too, the situation with a grandmother, people from your early childhood, people that play an integral role in your new beginnings and your outlook. The situation with them might be a little bit more contentious and acrimonious, more so than usual. There may be arguments over philosophical differences, religion, law, what is truthful. Sagittarius, of course, is about veracity, and the arguments may be a little bit, with that, speaking that Sagittarius veritable truth, very blunt, tactless energy in the process. And it could be a time too where you might be coming across as a little bit more outspoken than usual, more aggressive and courageous, and have more fortitude on a first impression, more so than usual. Next thing up. Well, as far as February goes, Mars will be in Capricorn from the 16th until the 29th. So at this time, the second house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, this could be a time, Sagittarius, you may be injecting a lot of energy and vitality into a Capricorn, like money-making endeavor. It could be doing something like with dentistry, politics, government, information technology, dentistry, something like with masonry. Anything could be building, construction, architecture, anything that could be Capricorn related, something with business. Now, if you're unattached at this time, Sagittarius, you may connect with a Capricorn sun, moon, or ascendant person, or simply one that embodies Capricorn traits at this time. And it could be there could be some for a sexual liaison, and it might be somebody that plays a very strong role in your self-esteem, your self-worth, how you feel about yourself, and your values. And might even be somebody that plays a strong role in your monetary situation, your possessions, your resources at this time. And also, too, the situation with people you generate money with, maybe people that factor in and figure prominently in your possessions, your resources, how you feel about yourself. They may be a little bit more contentious and acrimonious, more so than usual. There may be arguments over politics, government, maybe matters of authority, maybe somebody just being a little bit more bossy, more authoritative than he or she needs to be. And you might be a little bit more agitated over matters with your possessions at this time, a little bit more touchy, more so than usual, and people know you mean business, so to speak, regarding them. Next thing up. Jupiter will be in Capricorn still, so the second house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, Sagittarius, this could be a time where this could be very fortuitous and fortunate for a Capricorn money-making endeavor. It could be something with business or something with politics, the government, dentistry, masonry, something with architecture or construction at this time, even general mundane work. It could also, just in general, this could be a very prosperous period, perhaps through matters with being very premeditative, having good planning energy. And it could also be a time too, at this time, Sagittarius, where, as I've stated in previous videos, Jupiter could be rather paradoxical, could be very strongly benign and benevolent, but it could also have a tendency to enlarge and expand. It could also, in some cases, enlarge and expand perhaps restrictions, limitations, even responsibilities to monetary matters, to your possessions, your resources, to how you feel about yourself, your self-worth and self-esteem at this time. But also at this time, it could also be very auspicious for buying and selling. And it could be things that are business related, that are pertaining to your business at this time, since we're talking about Capricorn energy, and also ones where you formulated a very good plan and did so for some time, because remember that Capricorn energy can be very premeditative. So those are some ways that this could pan out. And also Jupiterian people, such as people that are philosophers, religious people, publishers, might figure more prominently in how you feel about yourself, your self-worth. It could also be an auspicious time for doing something Jupiter related as far as making money goes. It might be done very methodical, systematic manner, given that we're talking about Capricorn energy. It could be something connected with publishing, or something with philosophy, or teaching, being a professor, perhaps, or sports, anything Jupiter related. Well, next thing up. Well, Saturn will be in Capricorn still, so the second house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, well, this could manifest in a number of ways. Well, for one thing, Sagittarius, you might find yourself taking care of a sickly or debilitated. It could be a person that you generate income with, or is prominent in your possessions, your resources, and it may be something Capricorn related. It might be something connected with the knees, the bones, the joints, the hamstrings, and maybe making you feel somewhat despondent and melancholy. But at this time too, you might find yourself having to take care, having more certain responsibilities, more so with your possessions, your money at this time, more so than usual, but also gaining structure and discipline in those areas. Hold on a moment, people. Sorry about that, I'm back. But anyway, it could also be a time too where it might be where you may be involved in doing something Saturn related as far as making money goes, Saturn / Capricorn related. It could be something like with dentistry, or doing something with business, with politics. It could be doing something like with information technology, something Capricorn related. We're doing working laboriously in masonry, which again is something connected with Capricorn, government, the politics, anything that could be Saturn / Capricorn related at this time. It could also be guard against becoming overly despondent or melancholy, and this could be tied into how you feel about yourself, and a low self-esteem or self-worth at this time, Sagittarius. So anyway, next thing up. Uranus will be in Taurus at this time, so the sixth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, Sagittarius, you might find yourself dealing with certain your daily routine. There might be a little unpredictable, maybe somewhat sporadic and erratic. You might be dealing with some unusual, stubborn, obstinate behavior from an aunt or an uncle, people prominent in your daily routine. It could be people in your place of employment or your health life, say someone you may know at some health and fitness venue. It could also be a time too where keep in mind there might be a greater propensity for shocks at work. If you're at a place of employment and you're doing some electrical work, or you work as an electrician, or something where you're dealing with wiring, just be careful that you're grounded, or you're taking the precautions necessary, Sagittarius, when you are doing this. And at this time as well, this could also be a time where you might be doing something Uranus related as far as your daily routine, or as far as your employment goes, I should say. Could be something with astrology or astronomy, aerospace, even rocket science, humanitarian work, in something with innovation, computers, electronics. At this time, it could also be a time too where you might be putting in more ingenuity in things, and in terms of your daily routine and your work life, more so than usual at this time. Sometimes this could be about Taurus friendships that might be figured more prominently in your work life, your daily routine, service rendered, your health and fitness, perhaps your diet. And it may be a Taurus, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant people, or they might be friends that simply embody Taurus characteristics. So, anyway, and also one last thing about that is that you might be, this could also be a time where you might be getting something Uranus-like that is associated with a health situation at this time. It could be something with the ankles or the shins. It could be something that may be something where it could be some kind of shocking sensation or some situation with the nerves. I have this placement natally, and I do have extensive nerve damage to my arms. So it can be more of a propensity for some kind of nerve damage. So just be careful at this time, Sagittarius, if you're doing some kind of heavy lifting or what have you, because that could bring on nerve damage if you're doing something, heavy, vigorous, repetitive lifting at this time. So anyway, next thing up, well, Neptune will be in Pisces still, so the fourth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time for you, Sagittarius, well, the situation at home or in general, family members may be a little bit more chaotic, more so than usual. It could also be a time too where you might be a little bit, who you are at the core may be a little bit more nebulous and more unclear, more so than usual at this time. And even your roots and ancestry may be as well. They might be a little bit obscure, and you might be having trouble really seeing what they are at this time as far as roots and ancestry goes. But it could also be on a positive note. I mean, you could also be doing, manifest and doing something Neptune related out of the home, such as poetry or dancing or something with chemistry, photography, the metaphysical, which includes astrology, or even spirituality at this time. But also, this could also increase a propensity for flooding in the home as well. So just be careful at this time, Sagittarius, especially if you're leaving some water running at this time, or if there's any holes in the home, or if you have like where it's a time where weather-wise you're inundated with rain. Make sure that you have the precautions taken to guard against possible flooding or excessive flooding inside the home at this time. But it could also be a period though where you might be it could be about a lot of self-sacrificing at this time for home and family members. And also, I mean, keep in mind that the fourth house is about the end or latter part of your life. So it could be a time where you might be somewhat if you're not in that latter end part, if you might be doing a lot of fantasizing and daydreaming in connection with that, but also being very idealistic regarding those matters. And remember too that Neptune energy again can be a lot more about daydreaming and fantasizing as opposed to doing something with it. Now, the thing about it is that in this case, of course, for things related to the fourth house, and this would be especially true if transit Neptune is making an adverse aspect to your natal Mars, your Sun, or your ascendant at this time. A lot of this could be more lethargic energy as opposed to actually taking action in connection with this energy. So anyway, last but not least, Pluto will be in Capricorn still, so the second house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, well, Sagittarius, I know you don't want me to say the dreaded D word, but I'm going to anyway. This could manifest in some cases in as far as an actual or literal death of somebody that you might generate money with. It might be somebody prominent, your income, your possessions, your resources at this time. It could also be a time too on a positive end where you might be doing something Pluto related as far as generating income. It could be doing something connected with something nuclear, working as a nuclear physicist, something with astrology, supernatural, the occult, recycling, insurance, something with transformation like rebuilding vehicles. But guard against power control issues as far as things of a monetary nature goes with your possessions, your resources. It could also be a time too where, I mean, Pluto energy can be about obliteration and destruction. This could be about the obliteration, destruction of one's values, one's possessions, your money at this time. But remember, it's also about rebirth and regeneration. So a lot of times when Pluto energy hits us, it can be about something that might be taken away, that may be obliterated. But what happens is it can also be revived, or it could be supplanted at a later point in time. So anyway, well, and also again, guard against any power control issues regarding things of a monetary nature, your possessions at this time. Sagittarius could also be a transforming period for your self-esteem or your self-worth at this time. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, people, Edwin Leonard saying stay well.